I wanted to make a brief video today about an antenna that I had been wanting to build. If you've watched any of my recent videos or previous videos, you'll recognize this telescopic antenna that you can pick up off of Amazon for around $20. It's just over 18 feet long, and it's been really good for the things that I have used it for. The performance has been real good, and I had an idea of something else that I could make using this antenna, actually using two of these. I had been wanting a semi-freestanding dipole that I could use for portable operation, and I had an idea if I took two of these and put them together, then that should work pretty good. So let me show you what I did. Of course, we had the telescopic antenna here. We had two of these, and what I did was I incorporated the two telescopic antennas into this T that I made out of PVC. So let's talk for a minute about what we've got right here. We have the 3/4 inch PVC pipe. The telescopic whip antennas go into each end. There's one already in this end. This end does not have an antenna in it at the moment. This is the antenna that came out of that one. And the way that I constructed this is basically what I wanted to share, because I had the antennas anyway, so to make this cost very little money. So I picked up a T connector at my local home improvement store. I had already had the PVC pipe, and I had this piece of cable left right here with a connector on it, left over from I think it's just some scrap left over from some other project, or maybe I reutilized it for this project. I don't recall, but anyway, what I did was, in order to connect the antennas into the T and make it removable, what I picked up, I think I ordered these off of Amazon, was two coupling nuts and two bolts to screw into the coupling nuts. And what these do is, these are M10 coupling nuts, an M10 thread that matches the antenna. And basically, when I constructed this, I took this piece of wire right here. It connected to a coupling nut inside there with a ring terminal on it between the coupling nut and the bolt. And then I wrapped electrical tape around these and placed them inside like that. So there's one on each side. There's one going this direction and another one going this direction, if it'll stand up there. So basically, that's what's inside here. I wrapped electrical tape around the coupling nuts so that they would just barely fit into the PVC pipe. Now, in order to hold this into place, what I did was, once I had the two coupling nuts in there and the wires bolted to it, and I put the end pieces on, these end pieces here, this one and this one. I put those end pieces on, and then what I did was I picked up some of the JB weld that comes in the syringe type tube that mixes itself, that you can just squirt into a hole. And then what I did was I took the JB weld, once I had everything into place like I knew I wanted it, the two end pieces, the coupling nut and the bolt and the wire coming out these holes right here, Well, the wire coming out the holes came in a minute, but I filled this joint area right here completely full of JB Weld. One syringe of JB Weld took care of the entire space with inside that T connector. It also made a permanent bond to these end pieces right here, or either I put some around there, I don't recall. I think maybe I put some around the outside edge, but I used JB Weld here, here, and then I filled up the inside of this cavity right here. And what that did, that made a permanent fill for that void, which allowed me to screw and unscrew the antennas on the end. So since the electrical tape was tight around the coupling nuts and inside there, the JB Weld did not flow into this other end right here where the antenna screws in. Once I filled that joint, I fished the wires through these holes right here on the side that would connect to the coax, and I inserted this bottom piece into the T connector and let it all set up for 24 hours since it was going to be somewhat bearing a little bit of weight. So anyway, once I did that, 24 hours later, I came back and I installed the antennas, the telescopic whip, I think it's 18.4 foot telescopic whip is what it is. But I installed the telescopic whips, and what else was it? When the whips are fully extended, it just so happens that the antenna, the dipole, which is essentially what you have here, at 20 meters with a whip fully extended, the dipole is fully resonant at 14.2 megahertz with a SWR of I think it was 1.2 to 1. So very good. It didn't require a lot of adjustment for 20 meters, and performance was outstanding. It was very good. The way that I mounted this was, I've shown in my previous videos the 12-meter spider pole that I have, and I mounted it onto the spider pole. Just slid, this is an open end. I just slid the antenna right over the top of the spider pole mast. I did remove the smallest two sections of the spider beam because they wouldn't have been sufficient to support this anyway, and the diameter didn't work for me. But the third section, the diameter of the third section, fits into this end pretty good. So that's what I did, and I'll show a picture of it here in a minute. And let's see, what else is there that I can say about this? PVC T connector, 2 coupling nuts, 1 on each side, 2 bolts on the inside of the coupling nuts that are connected to these wires that come out and go to this coax, which goes back to the radio. And it's mounted, this part slides over the third section of the spider beam, which reduces the 12-meter spider beam pole in height by, I'd say about 6 feet. So anyway, what else is there? I think that's about it. It's been a very good antenna. The first time I deployed it, operating conditions were not very favorable, and I had contacts that were farther than I could reach with a ground-mounted 20-meter antenna. So let's see, I think that's about it. Let me show a video next of let's go out here to the spider beam. As you'll remember, I had the spider beam pole And you'll see it's right here. And I had removed the two inside sections from the pole because this is diameter works best for the inside, and that's that. So anyway, what I'll do now is I'll mount the antenna on the pole. That'll take just a few minutes, and then come back. Before I do that, this antenna should resonate on anything up to 20 meters. It'll take a little bit of work to get the antenna the right length, but this is almost freestanding. It's semi-freestanding. You have to support the spider beam, but the dipole does not require a tree to be strung up in or anything else. And I'll show a picture here of the antenna deployed. And the spider beam is just attached to a piece of farm fence. Let me go back out here and show where the spider beam is attached to keep it from falling over. I've got a piece of farm fence post right here that I have cut off, and all I did was bungee the spider beam pole to the farm fence post. And that's, the farm fence post is driven about 14 inches into the ground, and that's more than sufficient to hold it up when it's fully deployed. So what I'll do now is we'll take a pause in the video and come back in just a minute, and you can see what this looks like fully deployed. We'll be right back. So here we have fully deployed the 20-meter dipole made of telescopic antennas, two at the top, one going one direction, one going the other. The total length of the top element, which consists of the two telescopic antennas, is about 36 feet from end to end. SWR is 1.2 at 14.2 megahertz. Feed point, I removed two sections out of the spider beam, so the feed point is approximately 35 feet above the ground, plus about 6 inches where the T is on top of the pole. So I'm pretty happy with it. Last time I had this deployed, I worked from Israel to the east and New Zealand to the west, based on where it's pointed. It's pointed northeast and southwest, and I worked both of those places the same night. So pretty happy with the way it works. Of course, when the wind is blowing, you have to let it down. It doesn't hold up to the wind load. It's pretty much a light duty antenna, but tonight we're expecting no wind, so the antenna is deployed. If you like this one, check back again, subscribe, share, and until the next video, stay tuned, and we'll see you later. Adios.